Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be together with my coach, Don Artie, and he's going to be testing my knowledge on my decision making and my macro strategies in Age of Empires 4. As we go through each of the questions, you as a viewer will have 10 seconds to think and make your decision. Feel free to pause if you need more time, but again, this is a great chance to test your own skills and hopefully learn something new. So enjoy the video.
Alright, well, as you know, I don't play passive. I only like to play aggressive.
Yeah.
I don't do 2TC stuff. I don't play king. If I play in English, we're gonna cancel all this up.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to play this matchup cancel all, how do you want to play this? Keep in mind that the map is Himayama.
Yeah. Yeah, so if it's Himayama, we have the pawn in the middle, granting us extra food. That is something we can decide to go for and delaying our council hall push a little bit. But it can also get scary if we play council hall too late, because it gets harder for us to contest the goal. So we have to think about whether or not we want a competitive timing, or if we want more food to keep making units.
At the start here, I just decided I'm gonna go to the pawn straight away.
Okay.
To eat the fish.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons I wanted to show you this game is because it's really like fluent macro, like all the decision making in the Dark Age. It's not just following a build order. So we're doing this for two reasons. The food from the fish is 1 food a second compared to sheep is 0.75. So given the situation, you see the Vil. What would you do here?
In this situation, you don't want to sacrifice too much food income just to try to take out a Vil. So if he starts making the dock, I would probably consider just letting him build it for a little bit, and then pull 5 Vils and then 2-shot him if I can, micro my way out of it. The most important thing is the dock does not go up, because I already have the short bow villages here.
Right, so you wouldn't just run at the Vil, you would just kind of let him build for a while if he goes for it, and then deny him at the last second.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, perfect. All right, yeah, I agree with that. But I don't think that's obvious for everyone.
No, I think you're right about that. Like, some people will see, okay, a Vil has been pulled, that's like something I can kill, so now I'm just gonna tunnel vision on killing that Vil. You just want to sort of space it out, I think, and just say, okay, look, he can waste his time building this dock. Or we can waste all of our villagers trying to chase this villager away before it's even started wasting its own time, right?
So I kind of keep my scout a little bit in the area here because I want to see what's going on. So I'm not just going for sheep. And I'm just gonna let him build on his mistake. All right. So now that he's cancelled it, now how are we feeling?
I feel like it's pretty good, right? Because he's delayed now. He went for the dock, and he's got this idle time on the villager, and we just kept on gathering food. So he probably thought that we would see the dock with the vision we had, and that we're now going to pull Vils, but we're not going to do that because we scouted well. So in this situation, I would probably scout a little bit more around, and then come back in about 15 seconds or something to check that he didn't start constructing it in a spot that I can't see.
All right. So what I'm thinking here, which is what I was hoping for you to say, he just canceled his dock. That means he has 150 wood in the pocket or in the bank, and that means he can go barracks. Yep. And the barracks is makes a lot of sense here because he can run at my Vils and he can idle all this eco, and I want to keep my Vils here. So what is important here, in my opinion, is that my scout is going to explore whether he's going to go barracks or not. So I'm going to send my scout towards his TC. I don't see any world in which he's going to try a dock again. That just makes no sense to me. It's kind of he knows, like in his brain, it's like a given up play, and I don't see a world in which he would randomly try to find the fog of war to build it. I didn't consider that. Well, I'm pretty confident if I keep my vills around to fight against potential spearmen and samurai, that's gonna be bad for me. Um, just the sheer idle time from shooting on the unit, it's gonna take a while to die, and I will probably end up losing at least a vill and maybe have to run away, and yeah, things can crumble really fast. So I don't want to be in that position. Go ahead. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna kind of. I think I noticed some sheep in the north there, so I was taking that first and stuff. But I'm gonna try to check out his base soon here, and see if he goes barracks or not.
You saw the villager went back here.
I didn't see that in game, but as I was kind of expecting, but now I know there's the barracks coming up. All right, so which of these options do you prefer? Do you prefer running away? Do you prefer going for a tower? Would you consider going for a barracks? Barracks?
I think I would prefer to have him build how many spearmen he wants to build, so that might be 4 spears or something, and then just take the small eco hit from going back, and then get up. If I decide to make a tower, that tower will cover partially some of the pond, but every time that I go to another side of the pond, I would have to build maybe another tower here or something, because the ponds are so spread out. But let's say they were all together here, I would highly consider going for the tower itself.
Okay. So in this case, I'm gonna just spoil. I decided to go for the tower option. I don't wanna send my vills all the way back. I think that's like a waste of time. And I still want to secure this food, right? It's not like I've been super actively scouting for sheep or something. And I kind of want to play in his face and control the map, control that hunt. Like there's also a barrier that he might want to gather at some point and stuff. I want to keep control of the map, and like I said, I want to play council hall. I want to play in his face. And if I go council hall, his barracks is also going to be, especially if he makes spears, it's not going to be any good for him. Either way, like no matter if you go back or you stay here, like spears will never be efficient against council. But all right, so let's say I go for a tower here. How would you macro that? Like, would you feel in a rush? Do you think there's enough time?
I would probably just take the food bills here, together with the gold bills, get the 50 wood, and then go back on gold with like 2 villagers or something. So prioritize getting the 50 wood to build that tower quite quickly. That would probably be the quickest way to get the wood for the tower. For the
Alright, so you would pull your vills from gold is basically the main question. So you would do that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's also what I did. I felt like there was big enough urgency to pull the vills from sheep and from gold to the straggler, and I'm gonna try to get myself that 50 wood to build a tower. And now the question becomes, where do you build the tower? So we decided to go for a tower. Where would you build it? You build it.
Considering that there's almost no food left in this shoreline fish, it would make no sense to build it here. And this mill, if I'm gonna go for these fish over here, I'm gonna build a second mill. If I built the tower in this same area as the second mill, which would be in between the 2 shoreline fish, that second mill would contest the berries, the deer, and the shoreline fish here as well. So with like a simple upgrade in the field age here, that tower would cover this area, and later on when I go for council hall, also apply network on the longbows themselves. So I think that would make the most sense to build it here. Gather another 50 wood, get another mill here.
Yeah, so I agree with this, and I think like maybe 30 seconds ago you were suggesting to build a tower on the other side, and it's funny how quickly those sort of things can change.
Yeah.
I think getting the tower on his side is extremely good here. We're gonna have like two fish there we can gather. We can maybe push like a deer inside our mill. So yeah, that's what I decided to go for as well.
So now you move your villagers.
Yeah, so I'm gonna build this as quickly as I can. I think the unit is probably on the way by now. I know when the bear got up, so I know that the unit should already be trained by now and probably walking here. So an important thing here that I wanted to talk about in the base, it's kind of already happened, but what's important here is that you get back on gold quickly. The reason for this is that if that unit is gonna see the tower, he's gonna walk past me and he's gonna go to my gold. So I don't want my gold to be idled. I want to have the gold to be able to age up,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, you can just look at the tower. It was kind of funny how it kind of came together pretty nicely. The unit shows up. It's perfect timing for me. Yeah, and he, luckily for me, pushes the deer inside as well. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, let's kill that real quick as well, and then I have the deer and the fish there. So we're getting our gold. We're looking to age up. We're just gonna be getting onto food here, and if you can just pause it and go to my base. It's kind of already happened, but you can see that I went for a lumber camp here.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you about this choice, but it's
Okay.
already happened. But how do you feel about this? Would you have done the same? Would you have gone back to sheep?
I think I would probably personally go for the food first and then transition while I'm constructing the council hall to wood.
Okay. So the reason I like to do it this way is because the shorefish gather super fast, and the thing is, I'm in zero rush in this game, which is something that is always hard, hard for people to identify. Like, how much of a rush are you in? My opponent has probably chopped some wood that he didn't need. He made a walk back and forth with a veil for a minute. He's made a barracks. He's made a samurai. He's not gonna be up quickly, right? Like, he's gonna be delayed by a lot. And I have everything defended. As soon as I mine this gold, then everything's defended, either under this tower or under my TC. So in my opinion, it's important here to identify that we're in zero rush and we can take our time. And instead of getting on the sheep, which is less efficient but allows us to age up faster, I would rather be efficient here and use as much of the shorefish I can to age up, which is way faster than the sheep, and just stockpile some wood already for later. Which is kind of why I decided to go for this wood. And you will see the same thing with my gold fills. I'm not going to pull those to sheep. Once I have the gold for the age up, I'm also going to pull those to wood as well. So yeah, just really just taking it easy. We kind of we had a great early game so far. We caused this idle time. We caused this, all this inefficiencies for him. We have control of the mid map. And I'm just gonna take it easy. I'm just gonna enjoy my advantage. And a lot has happened already, right? Like, we're only 3 minutes in, and so many decisions to make and things to think about. And I really like this sort of gameplay where you're really interacting with the game.
I get that. It makes it more interesting, right? Because you force your opponent to do the same thing as well. Simply by making plays that are slightly unorthodox, like moving to the middle for food. You can put your opponent in weird positions where they have to think, how do I best approach this? And if they are not thinking about it in the best way, you're gaining advantages.
Yeah, you're just gonna allow your opponents to make mistakes if you play like this. Alright, so we're putting the council hall at the forward base, which is what I always was intending to do. He's not going to be able to deny this. I have a tower there, and he's going to be up late. So now again, I wanted to talk about the macro. We're training fills here. Where would you rally these fills to that's currently being trained?
Well, I'm not going to be building farms early. I'm not going to get a barrack either, as it stands right now. So at that rate, I would probably go up to about 7 or 8 on food and then rally the rest on wood.
Okay. Yeah, so I disagree. This is basically the same point as before. I want to stockpile wood because as soon as this landmark finishes, all those hills are going to go back to shorefish and my food income is going to skyrocket. And I want to have the wood already available to, like, it's a strange thing in RTS where it often feels like it's most efficient to have, like, you know, only 50 resources in the bank, macro-wise. But oddly enough, it would be more efficient in this case to have like 300 or 400 wood and then balance it out later. Because again, like I said, we're not in a rush. We're not. We don't need to have these longbows like in the next minute, or we're gonna die or something. We're just chilling. So I like to relay my TC to wood here and yeah, catch up that food income later. Added benefit is that if he does go to stable, we have the wood ready to drop a barracks, which is always nice. So yeah, you can just kind of, you could even speed it up if you want. Not too much happening at this stage. Could just kind of building up. And yeah, like I said, he's still not up, right? Like, this is what I expected. We're trying to see if he's going for a stable, because then if we ever manage to see a stable, we're gonna drop a barracks. And we're also figuring out where he's gonna gather his wood. On this map, the wood lines are often pretty exposed. And you can see that now I have 12 on food, and I have the surplus of wood. But that's gonna catch up super quickly.
Yeah. You're already gonna get 1 longbow here, 1.5 longbows just from that drop.
Yeah, so our production has never been basically not been idle yet, I think. As soon as we got up, we've been training. And I'm confident that if I went on sheep to age up faster and to like not stop pile wood, then we would have had the same production, but we would have had like probably 200 resources less in the bank or something.
Longbows also perform pretty well against Dark Age Samurai. Even if they get to Feudal Age, I think they're alright.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with my spot here. Just need to make sure that I don't get run over by horsemen at some point.
Yeah, so they go down pretty quickly.
Yeah, and at this stage, I'm in a very good spotlight, right? Like I'm killing that farm. The wood is denied. That's the wood that he went for. So he has to switch wood and stuff. Well, this is like not. This is just super obvious choice that like I have to drop a barracks, right? Like you see a horseman, so
yeah.
So yeah, and we're just gonna keep being in his face, keep denying the wood and the farms and stuff. And that's basically our game plan from here.
Okay.
Just keep him on edge.
And of course, you would build that barracks here in the front.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and the thought behind that is, if you lose control of this middle part, you've also lost the game.
Yeah, if something happens that I like lose this army and I lose this part of the map, I've messed up. I've just lost the game. That's I should not mess up like that. And if I do, then I'm willing to lose.
Yeah, better to go next.
Yeah. I just need that reinforcements to trickle in ASAP. So yeah, we're just gonna chill for a sec here while we know he's making cavalry, so we want to get our spears out. So just kind of chilling on the pressure for a little bit here. I think I've taken down the farm. I've definitely caused his woodvilles to run through the other forest now. So yeah, he's been kind of inefficient due to my actions. And I kind of picked this time of the game to get my ecotex behind it as well. He's getting that wheelbar and the broad axe. And you can see how quickly my food has overtaken the wood. because of the shorefish and stuff.
Yeah, you also got twice as much gather rate per minute. Gather rate per minute, income per minute.
Yeah, yeah. So now I can start. Well, it's nice because I need to train spears now, which costs more food, of course, and so it's fine for now. But if I only need a couple spears in my opinion, and then I should start rallying my TC to wood again instead of sheep.
So currently the TC's rally to wood, and you would rally sheep a little bit.
Yeah, so I've been on sheep for a bit here, and I could probably pull some vills off here if I wanted. So it looks to me like he's on that left forest now, because I didn't see him on the top.
This one here?
And yeah, it probably has to be that one, because I didn't see him on the bottom and I didn't see him on the top. But either way his economy has been hurting. I don't see a way in which he's gonna be able to like train Yumi and stuff as well to deal with the spears. I feel like my situation right now is just super winning.
I think I would agree with it, but it would highly depend on how the next fight outcome is. If the outcome is you win that fight, you would have won the game pretty much. Then it's all about finishing it. However, if the fight is somewhat okay for him, at some point the food becomes a little bit more dangerous. But I would say your position is very, very strong to go back and forth here. So as long as you don't take a bad fight, which is really hard to do, then you should be alright.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's just super hard to take a bad fight when I've been producing the entire time. My economy has been running, and he's been, you know, he's been hurting a lot. And that's the thing where I don't think I've killed any vills yet, but I'm sure his economy has been hurting quite a bit because of, you know, that back and forth with the dog, with the barracks at the start, the vills on the wood at the top. You know, denying that farm, all these things really add up. All this walking time that he had. So I wanted to take this time to kind of focus on my macro here. So yeah, you can kind of see that this wood line is starting to kind of run thin. What would you be thinking here?
I think there would be too much downtime for switching to another wood line, and you still want wood to constantly produce your units, so a slight update with the new lumber camp here would be sufficient to get the remaining wood from this area here. And then if there was a wood surplus, which I would not expect, but that would be something that you could make room for, you could split some of the villages over here so you didn't have as much downtime.
All right, so the way I kind of see this, it's kind of like a safe and macro decision. I kind of want to have all my vills bundled in one place. I'm gonna gather the gold, like I've gathered both eco techs that I wanted, and now I'm just gonna gather for the ranged attack upgrade and the ranged defense upgrade, so it's 250 gold. And as soon as I've got those, I'm kind of done with the gold. I don't think I need rams in this position. I'm just gonna deny his resource and stuff. And I want to prioritize to get all my wood in one spot, so I'm gonna go to the north of my TC here, because he's gonna have the mobility, he's gonna have the horsemen, he can raid and things like that. I don't want to deal with that, and if everything is in one place there, you can't really get in there because there's just too many vills. I can shoot with my vills.
Yeah,
I can also camp like 1 or 2 spears there. So I don't like to replenish this wood camp for like this last couple of wood.
Okay.
I'm gonna start thinking about transitioning all my vills to one wood place, which would be that forest. So I would never go for the forest on the right. And I think if he goes for a raid, he would probably hit me from like the bottom of this gold. So that's what I'm thinking here, is he's gonna try to make a move. Maybe he's gonna feel behind. He's gonna feel pressure to raid, and I want to prevent that. So that's what I'm thinking at this stage. We're kind of in a calm moment of the game, so it's always good to think ahead of about these sort of things. Yes, I'm just gonna quietly set this transition up. I'm gonna rally my TC there now and gonna move these vills over soon enough. He went back to this wooded line again. It's gonna cost him some vills. And this is enough eco damage already, right? 3 vill kills is a lot.
Yeah, for sure, it's a lot of villagers to lose in a stage of the game where you should be doing the damage to your opponent, not take the damage.
Yeah, it's just a significant percentage of your economy. So you can see with the gold here, I've got the 250. So I'm done with the gold now. Yeah, I think pretty common people would feel the need to get rams in a position like this, and I don't think that's required at all. I think just getting the ranged attack upgrade and then defense afterwards, so you could potentially run into TC a little bit or something. You're just gonna deny his income, deny all his rest, and there's no need to finish it off with like a risky ram push into the TC like we see a lot of people do. Because if I do that and it fails and I lose my army, then all of a sudden I've lost the game because I'm gonna lose control. So I really like to play these positions out without a ram.
You just think resource denial. You see his villagers are already idling here, so he's sort of out of food, and just having more units here guarantees that you have a better fight instead of going for rams to do damage that you've already done.
Yeah, so I just saw on the mini-map that the horsemen were showing up below my council hall. So they're now going for that raid. And you can see that this is completely barren land for me now. Kind of thinking about this move 2 minutes ago. And he's gonna find nothing. Everything is already evacuated to the top. I built a tower there for vision to make sure that you know, they're not randomly coming in from behind. I'm just gonna rally like 2 spears here now as well, just to confirm it. I don't need those 2 spears in my army. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep denying these berries. Maybe the deer here. It looks like he tried to go for it. I've denied his farms. He's just really hurting, and he's kind of forced to take a fight here, in a sense, because he was on these deer.
Yeah. But he has absolutely nothing, and 8 spears is enough to take out all the horsemen. A couple of longbows will deal with the samurai easily.
So that was like a really quick game. It was only 12 minutes, and it kind of makes my opponent seem like not a good player, even though he's a Conqueror 3 player. And that's really what I always try to highlight with these sort of games. It's just a lot about decision making. It's only 12 minutes, but we had to make a lot of decisions just in the Dark Age alone. We had to make like 8 different decisions. Do we attack the Ville or not? Do we go for the tower or not? Do we do this or not? Etc. And also these small little nuances that I try to include in my game where I wasn't available for that raid anymore, like I wasn't home. He just arrived to like a barren land. Don't feel... What's really important in these games as well, like an overarching theme, is don't feel rushed. Like, don't gather sheep to age up quickly. Don't go for rams to finish the game or something. Like, he's really struggling. He's not able to produce units hardly at all. Like, I'm just outmessing him. And there's just no way for him to play. Like, what could he have done in his position, in your opinion?
I think it's about the approach in the beginning. Are you going to find the value? Are you in the opponent's head, right? Not understanding what the intention of those villages were and how you were going to transition onto the Dio berries and have a tower there in the time for the samurai. I mean, if you're not seeing that coming and you go for those plays, you're not really thinking ahead, and that's really important. So I think some of the best things that he could have done is to just, for example, go next stage, unlock new units that will actually work when you transition into longbow spear.
Yeah, like his barracks is kind of somewhat of a panic reaction. But there's also potential of really high reward. Like, right, if I don't respond properly, and I have to run those vills, that's going to be pretty bad for me. And maybe he can take that water at some point again and stuff like that. So it's all about tempo and just small decisions that kind of got me like a seemingly effortless victory here. But yeah, that's why I like to remind people that this is a Conquer V player, and most of the viewers are not probably not going to be able to beat this guy, right?
And again, it's also important to remember that there are different styles of play. You can play meta, but you can also play off meta. And then you can do these types of play where you're throwing people off completely. So I would probably distinguish between them as saying, okay, if you were to play meta, you would just go 2DC White Tower and then play out the matchup the way that people conceptualize it. But you could also play a little bit off meta, and maybe you go fast castle, or maybe you go horseman king or something. And then you have these plays that completely throw people off because now you're actually playing the map. Now you're actually playing the matchup. You're fully understanding what his civ capabilities are, what his intentions are on this map. And then you do something that might be slightly unexpected, but it's not exactly that's the play. Like, you're doing something unexpected for him, but you're doing something that's incredibly effective in that vacuum. And I think it takes a lot of skill, and you need to be able to think to actually pull something off, because you cannot think one-dimensionally. You cannot think, okay, I'm going to go down there with the villagers, he's going to make a dock. No, you have to think, okay, if I meet him there with my villagers and that dock is being constructed, I have the following options, and he has these following options. And for each of those scenarios, whatever he decides to do, you would have a follow-up to it, right?
Yeah, and I kind of challenge the viewers to play this style sometimes, because some people will find themselves kind of stuck just playing 100 games of 2TC White Tower, and you're kind of living the same scenarios every time. And if you play like games like this, like, not only is it really fun to do, so I can highly recommend it just for fun, for the fun alone. You improve super quickly because everything is more fluent. You're not stuck in a build order. I was just like, oh shit, I need 50 wood to get that tower. I'm gonna change my gold hills to wood now, and all these sort of choices. It really gets you thinking, and the game gets a lot easier when you're thinking.
Yeah, and it's a good practice, right? It's what makes you a better player, instead of just saying, okay, this builder told me I should do that. Now I'm losing because it told me to do that. I think it's important to note that even if you are a low-level player and you're not able to take it to this level, still doing things that are out of the ordinary and still just taking the game into your own hands, at your level, if you're in diamond, plat, or gold, people will also respond according to their level, assuming you're up against somebody of similar skill. Meaning, okay, if you do something similar, like open up villages on the middle pond and they go for a dock, they will probably crumble even harder than this guy, simply because what do you do then? Do they then overreact and take 5 villagers down to that dock just to force it up? Or whatever, right? It can be anything. And so it's really important to understand that you don't have to be the best thinker. You just have to get in line with that style. So you start using your brain that way.
Yeah, and I really wanted to highlight a game like this because these are the games that you never really see. This is not interesting to cast, right? Like 10 units have died in total. Who's gonna want to see this in a casted game? But this is like a very typical game that showcases why I'm, for example, a higher elo player. Even though I didn't do anything like mechanically special or anything like that. I'm just playing with my brain, and I really want to show people that this is possible, and you should strive to. Some people just strive to play like this. Like, if this is up your alley, then definitely go for it.